Welcome to the Home Visiting and Intimate Partner Violence Prevention Training. This is Module 2. This project is federally funded. The overall goals of the project: to improve confidence in using motivational interviewing and home visiting programs. Home visitors can screen for intimate partner violence. Home visitors can make appropriate referrals. Home visiting programs will increase their knowledge and skills on motivational interviewing and intimate partner violence. The Hawaii Core State Violence and Injury Prevention Program team is working with Your Ohana, Hawaii's Home Visiting Service Network, to enhance intimate partner violence screening and referrals to appropriate resources by increasing the number of home visiting staff trained in motivational interviewing. Overview of Training Series. This training provides an introduction to motivational interviewing basics. Additional training and supervision would be required. Module 2 topics. Participants will understand the definition of intimate partner violence, the prevalence, the dynamics, and impact. Participants will understand how intimate partner violence is a barrier and how it impacts family engagement. Participants will understand the needs of those experiencing intimate partner violence. Discuss the applicability of motivational interviewing in working with those experiencing intimate partner violence. Participants will explore how people change and the importance of how the atmosphere of understanding, acceptance, and collaboration help facilitate change. Participants will explore how to listen deeply and respond in a way that helps develop an action plan. Participants will learn motivational strategies known as OARs, open-ended questions, affirmations, reflective listening, and summarizing. We're going to look at the spirit of motivational interviewing in relation to working with intimate partner violence. We're going to talk about collaboration, acceptance, compassion, and evocation. Collaboration. Focus on understanding how the person being abused feels about their relationship. Allow space, as intimate partner violence is complex. Acknowledge and communicate that they are not alone in their experience or their ambivalence about the relationship. explore in a non-judgmental way, affirm their perspective. Acceptance and supporting autonomy. Everyone is the expert on their life and there is no right way. Increase awareness. Education. Provide new, relevant information in a neutral and sensitive way to empower them in making informed decisions that impact their life. Compassion. Having a desire to help, having empathy for the person, deepen your understanding of what they're experiencing. Evocation. Seek out clients' perspective, elicit what they have tried, involve them to share their ideas, seek to find what motivates them, engage them to talk about their reasons for possible change. Recognizing that not everyone has experience working with intimate partner violence, it's important to have an understanding of what it is. We're going to look at the definition of intimate partner violence, examples of what intimate partner violence looks like, how common is intimate partner violence, why it is difficult to leave an abusive relationship, and what are reasons abuse happens. What is intimate partner violence? Intimate partner violence is any use of physical or sexual force, actual or threatened, in an intimate relationship. Intimate partner violence is also a pattern of coercive control founded on and supported by violence or the threat of violence. Intimate relationship refers to people who are married or have been married, former partners or lovers, people who have a child in common, current or past dating relationships, heterosexual or homosexual relationships. Examples of what is intimate partner violence. Physical abuse. A few examples include hitting, punching, pushing, choking. Emotional abuse is swearing at, put downs, name calling, blaming, criticizing. Sexual abuse is any non-consenting sexual act or behavior. Power and control. Examples include intimidation, threats, using the children, economic abuse, let's look at how prevalent is intimate partner violence. Although both women and men can be victims of domestic violence, the overwhelming majority of the violence involves men abusing women. On average, nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner in the United States. During 1 year, this equates to more than 10 million women and men. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 7 men have been victims of some form of physical violence by an intimate partner within their lifetime. On a typical day, there are more than 20,000 phone calls placed to domestic violence hotlines nationwide. Women between the ages of 18 and 24 are most commonly abused by an intimate partner. 1 in 7 women who were abused reported that her partner first abused her during pregnancy. Domestic violence victimization is correlated with a higher rate of depression and suicidal behavior. Only 34% of people who are injured by intimate partners receive medical care for their injuries. What makes it difficult to leave an abusive relationship? Will anyone believe you? Fear, economics, children, judgments, hope, history of trauma, past abuse, love. Why do people use abusive behavior? It's a learned behavior. They often have a history of trauma, stress learned response, cognitive choice decision, power and control. The cycle of abuse. This is one model of how the cycle of abuse may occur. Every situation is different, so it's important to talk to the person you're working with about what does the cycle look like for them. We often see people experience a tension phase, a phase where the abuse happens, and then a phase where there's remorse and they're calm. During the tension building phase, often the person who's experiencing the abuse, they feel tense, fearful, it feels unfair, they may feel hopeless, worried, numb. They often try to keep things calm. They keep their feelings in. For the person who's abusive, they often feel tense, frustrated, jealous, entitled. They use verbal abuse. They may be controlling and demanding. During the phase when abuse happens, the person who's being abused often feels frightened, helpless, numb. They may try to protect. They may submit to the abuse, try to get away. They may seek help. For the person who's abusive, feelings of anger, enraged, often irrational, and violent. During the remorse phase, or sometimes referred to as the calm phase, the person being abused might feel relieved. There may be anger over the incident. There might be feelings of resentful. There's possible denial, and they may blame themselves for what happened. They may make up excuses for what happened. They try to solve the problem or fix the problems in the relationship to prevent it from happening again, and there's hope for change. For the person who is abusive, they often feel remorseful. They may apologize. They may feel embarrassed. They might feel confused. They may block it out. There might be promises to change. They may blame the other person. Let's look at how intimate partner violence impacts many areas of a person's life. Has an emotional impact. Feelings such as fear, anger, confusion, shame, guilt, depression, helplessness. Psychological, feelings of things are crazy. Physical impact, there can be medical complaints, accidents, frequent illnesses, nervousness, tired, no energy. Social impact, difficulty trusting, they might isolate from others, difficulty handling conflicts, and passive. The impact of abuse and trauma, because intimate partner violence is traumatic. Often people are hyper-aroused, have difficulty sleeping, fatigue or low energy, appearing checked out or preoccupied, avoidance and withdrawal, isolation, unhealthy coping strategies. Next, we're going to look at what you can do when you're working with those experiencing intimate partner violence. We're going to talk about how to ask about intimate partner violence, responding to disclosure, increase awareness and understanding, create emotional and physical safety, understand behaviors, enhance well-being and resilience, prevention strategies. How to ask about intimate partner violence. Interview individually. If you interview the parties together, that can increase the dangerousness. Discuss confidentiality. Discuss your role. Be non-judgmental. Be genuine. Gather information. Ask for descriptive behaviors. Remember how trauma impacts people. Avoid re-traumatizing. Responding to disclosure of personal trauma. Intimate partner violence can be traumatic. Respond with sensitivity. I am sorry that happened to you. Thank you for trusting me with such personal information about your experience. You are not to blame for what has happened to you. I can see this is difficult. Talking to someone can be helpful in dealing with something so difficult. Would you like me to connect you with someone? Increase your awareness and understanding. What you can do is show compassion and be non-judgmental, respect their choices, their beliefs, their values and perspectives. Be aware of language. Is it sensitive? Does the person understand? Avoid labels. Listen carefully. Work collaboratively. Ask questions to learn more about the person. The person has much experience and is an expert on their life. Be patient. Give time and space to tell their story. Create emotional and physical safety. What you can do. Recognize that people who have experienced trauma may not feel emotional or physically safe. So talk to them about what safety means to them. Avoid re-traumatization such as touch, having them repeat their story, and how you position yourself. Offer choices. Allow for flexibility. Make adjustments to help them succeed. Discuss your role in services, the other provider's roles, what services are available, and confidentiality. Predictability. Provide information every step of the way. Understand the body and brain and how it can be impacted by trauma. What you can do. Recognize adaptive behaviors exist for a reason. Why are they chronically missing appointments or coming late? Why are they not following through with service plan? Why do they sometimes substance use to cope? Ask yourself the why under the why. Help discover what is the function of the behavior and make adjustments to help them succeed. Enhance well-being and resiliency. What you can do. Promote safe, stable relationships. provide education to understand the impact of trauma, develop crisis plans, safety plans, help develop skills, help them understand connections between past experience and present reactions, develop protective factors, facilitate positive outcomes, and help empower to succeed. Prevention strategies. Provide information and education on healthy relationships. Intervene to disrupt pathways that are headed towards intimate partner violence. Strengthen economic pathways for families. Support those experiencing intimate partner violence and increase safety to decrease harm. In summary, why is it important to work with those who are experiencing intimate partner violence? We have opportunities as home visitors to facilitate healing and recovery, provide positive relationship, develop or increase positive coping skills. If we can do early identification and intervention, we can potentially prevent future trauma, and we potentially break the cycle of violence. Now we're going to look at motivational interviewing strategies, specifically working in intimate partner violence cases. We're going to use strategies that are empathic and non-confrontational to help the client, and we're going to discover their motivation for change. Stages of change model when working with intimate partner violence. Things to remember. Relationships with intimate partner violence are challenging to work with. Safety is often at stake. Stages of change model can be helpful in client-centered safety planning. Stages of change is not a linear process, especially in relationships where intimate partner violence exists. Motivational interviewing is a framework to offer support and to recognize where the client is at. A word of caution. Motivational interviewing is applicable to intimate partner violence. We have to remember the abusive person is the one who is behaving in a dangerous way. The abusive person often has control and may act or react to any behavior that potentially increases the safety for the one being abused, which can further the abuse and dangerousness. Stages of change in intimate partner violence. Pre-contemplation, often there's a lack of awareness. It may be as if there is no problem. They may not be ready to take any safety measures. They may recall the good parts of the relationship. They're hopeful and believe the promises to change and that it will not happen again. They may think that if they change, that will make the abuse stop. Excuses for the abuse and injuries. They might say they're accident prone or bruise easy. Often when they're in pre-contemplation, this is a window of opportunity to plant the seed. And when there is doubt that the abusive person will change, they may ponder on the risk of the abuse and their safety. Contemplation in intimate partner violence. Contemplation, there may be ambivalence, there may be a problem. Ambivalence is prominent. They may shift back and forth. They may have dilemmas. What are the gains and losses? Possible increased anxiety. Pondering the idea of leaving versus staying, and may be in this stage for a while. Decisional balance advantages. Advantages of leaving might include safety for self and children, feeling more confident about making decisions, breaking the cycle for self and children, the decisional balance, the disadvantages, fears of continued abuse, worried about being able to provide for herself and the children financially, fears of starting a new life, how to stay safe, moving, hiding. Now we're going to be using motivational strategies with Monica and Lisa. Here's some background on Lisa and Monica. Lisa is a 23-year-old mother who has a 3-month-old baby boy. She has been with her partner for 5 years. They began dating in high school. She was referred by medical staff at the hospital. The nursing staff recognized some behaviors that brought up warning signs of possible controlling behaviors with her partner. Lisa has been somewhat receptive to the home visiting services at times. Monica was assigned the case and first saw Lisa when the baby was 1 month old. Monica has been a home visitor for 4 years. We're going to review our strategies of ORs that we talked about in Module 1, the open-ended questions, affirmations, reflective listening, and summary. Open-ended questions. Examples. Tell me about. What are your thoughts? How are you feeling about? What makes you think it might be time to change? Open-ended questions are questions that elicit more information and communication. They allow for a richer, deeper conversation. They're not easily answered with a yes or no. They encourage the client to respond from their perspective. Using open-ended questions. I have not met your husband. Tell me about how you all met.
We dated in high school and got married a couple years later.
Sounds like you all have been together for a few years. How has he been adjusting to being a dad?
He seems really stressed out, and I have to make sure the baby is not keeping him awake. He is concerned about money and is working overtime. I'm trying really hard, but it is very tough.
What other concerns might you have? Affirmations, some examples. You have been through a lot and it takes strength to get through it. You have been able to keep yourself safe. Affirmations, actively listening to recognize efforts, success, and optimism. Offer support, encouragement, respect, and understanding. Instills hope. Using affirmations. You are working hard to take care of your family.
It is difficult, and I think I am not doing enough for my baby.
So being a good mom is important to you, and I recall from our first visit that you were excited about learning new things.
I haven't been feeling well. I'm really tired and think I'm catching a cold. I'm trying, but it doesn't seem to be enough.
You shared that you were not feeling well this week, but you still made time to make dinner 4 times this week instead of getting takeout. You really thought about what we talked about in our last session regarding saving money, even though you did not feel well. That's a good first step. Reflective listening. We mirror what the client is saying. Examples include, it sounds like, you are feeling like. Reflective listening is about being heard and accepted, and it communicates understanding and respect. Using reflective listening.
I keep trying to do the right thing, but it never seems to be enough.
You have tried to do so many things for your family. It is overwhelming to try and manage all of it.
I don't know if I can do this.
It is very difficult for you right now, and it is important for you to keep trying. Summarizing. Communicates interest and understanding. Helps maintain engagement. Helps client to hear motivations and ambivalence. Examples of summarizing. Let me see if I understand. Let me see if I have this right. Using summarizing. Let me see if I understand so far. It is important for your family to be together. You care for both your baby and your husband. You have been doing many things that show how much you care. It is exhausting and overwhelming being new parents. You are open to learning more about how to do that. You are not sure if your husband is open to it. Have I missed anything?
I am worried he is not going to let me get the help.
I hear that you are still open to learning, and it is possible that we can figure this out. So we've just reviewed the ORs as a strategy to use for motivational interviewing, and we can also see how it's a tool for engagement. We gave examples in our conversation with Monica and Lisa about open-ended questions. We gave examples of affirmations. We gave examples of reflective listening and summarizing. So now that we've taken this time to engage and build the relationship between Monica and Lisa, now we're getting into a place of where we can start to look at that conversation about what might be going on in the relationship around intimate partner violence. I'm going to review a summary of Module 2. We talked about what is intimate partner violence. We talked about the dynamics. We talked about the prevalence of intimate partner violence. We talked about what makes it difficult to leave an abusive relationship. We talked about reasons a person is abusive. We talked about the cycle of abuse. We talked about how to ask about intimate partner violence, responding to disclosure, increase awareness and understanding, create emotional and physical safety, understand the impact of abuse and trauma and behaviors, enhance well-being and resilience, prevention strategies. We talked about the motivational interviewing and applicability in intimate partner violence. We looked at the stages of change in intimate partner violence. And we reviewed ORs and used them as a tool to engage our worker and client. Congratulations! You have completed Module 2. Please do your post-test and your knowledge quiz. And there will be a tip sheet for you to print and use in the field.